Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? Today, we are going to be talking through if tracking macros is sustainable long-term. This is a question I get all the time. Should I track macros if my ultimate goal is to go intuitive down the road? And I have 3 really good tips for you that I think will be extremely insightful if this is a question that you have ever wondered yourself or asked maybe to me or somebody else. And I'm super excited for this episode. So let's just go ahead. Without further ado, let's dive right on in. I love macros. If you have listened to this podcast or seen me on social media, come hang out with me on Instagram. I am on my story all the time and love to chat in the DMs. I love macros. I talk about macros all the time. I love the human metabolism. I love that we can use macros to heal our metabolism, to heal our relationship with food, to heal our relationship with our body. And also, I do believe and have seen that you can go intuitive at some point if that is your ultimate goal. I have had countless clients who did want to go intuitive, but they also wanted to hit their goal. And tracking macros is going to be the most efficient and effective way to get to where you want to go with your goals. But you don't have to track forever. And that's something that I think is really important to note, because there will be people who love macros so much, who love tracking macros so much that they will continue to track once they have actually hit their end goal. And there are women who will go intuitive at that point. So today I want to walk through my top 3 reasons for tracking macros before going intuitive. And actually, wait, I have in my notes here. I forgot that I did this. The list. So I went to make the list of my top 3 goals. And backstory, I am so excited about not just this episode, but I honestly think the next 6 episodes coming. I normally go to a coffee shop and get in the zone, put my earphones in, and just get all my notes ready for these episodes. And it normally takes me probably about an hour to actually write the notes, then another hour to go through them, then another hour. I mean, it's a pretty long process. And I sat down and within 2 hours had 6 episodes ready to rock and roll. And I'm like, holy moly, these episodes are freaking fire. And I am just really excited about this. But it's funny because my initial intentional goal for this one episode right here, episode 136, I wanted to make a list of my top 3 reasons for tracking macros before going intuitive, my thoughts behind them, my honest thoughts behind them. And the list kept growing and growing and growing. And I think it got to like 15 like list items. And I'm like, that's just way too long. So, what I did was I did narrow it down to my top 5. I think one of them is like two reasons in one. But so six different reasons here, but we're going to dive in. Okay. So I'm going to dive into my top 5, maybe 6, favorites here. And let me actually get my notes pulled up a little bit bigger so I can see. So, and there really are, I have written here, like there are so many reasons why you should track your macros, and you should track them now, like right now, if you want to lose weight. Especially if you want to lose weight without restriction, if you want to heal your metabolism, if you never want to diet again, if you want to build muscle, quite literally any goal in the entire world that you want, track your macros and start now, because the sooner that you start, the sooner you will be at your end goal. So many times I see women who are taking their sweet time, and I get it too. I mean, me personally, I think it took me like 2 years before I actually did a reverse diet, so a little bit different. But it took me a really long time to actually commit to tracking macros, because I was really scared, because I didn't have the insight, which, is why I'm so passionate about sharing all my education now. Because so many different reasons that I started creating all these different excuses. And if I could start, quite truly, if I could start my fitness journey, my nutrition journey, my journey to self-love over, I would have started tracking macros way sooner than I did, because I spent so much money. I wasted so much money on all of these quick fixes and all of these little diets that really did me more harm than good. And if I had just started tracking my macros, I would have reached my goal probably years ahead of what I actually did. And this being said, I am very grateful of my journey, and I don't want people to, discredit the journey that they are going through, because everything happens for a reason. The struggles you go through happen for a reason. For me personally, like the times that were the absolute hardest, those are when I grew the most. And I think some people look back and they're like, oh my gosh, I keep feeling, oh my gosh, I'm so mad I did this. And did I not just say that? I think I might have just said like, I'm mad. I wish I did this before. And to be fair, I still do. I think it would have been nice to start tracking my macros sooner. But the thing here is I did have so many learning lessons during this period that it led me to where I needed to go, which was to start tracking macros, which, obviously then to go change my major and to become a really big nerd when it comes to macros, the human metabolism, all these pieces. My point here is start tracking your macros now, start diving in, start learning how to track them properly. It will change your freaking life. So before we dive in, I wanted to do a quick little reminder here. I don't think I did this earlier. I'm like completely blanking of what I've said in this episode. I think it's only been like 5 minutes here. 5:55, you guys. Okay, there has been so many angel numbers that have been showing up in my life lately. And I have a new program launching very, very soon. I will tell you a little bit more about it in a little bit. I am just like really, really excited about it. And there have been so many angel numbers around this program, even from clients reaching out asking about it. And I'm like, everybody's going to be in this program is going to freaking thrive. And I'm very excited. As I was saying this, I saw 555 and I'm excited. Okay. So excitement. I'll probably eat at that noise I just made. Probably it's going to sound so weird on this episode, but that's okay. So before we dive in, I want to do a really, really, really quick recap on what macros are. If you're listening to this, you very likely know what macros are, but in case you don't and you need a reminder, I'm going to go ahead and go through really fast here. So macros. Tracking macros. The term macro itself is the shortened term for the word macronutrients. Macronutrients stands for the category for the foods that we eat, aka our protein, our carbs, and our fat. So macronutrients equals our protein, our carbs, and our fat, meaning that macros, because that's just shortened term for macronutrients, means our protein, our carbs, and our fat. So when we say we're tracking our macros, we are simply tracking our protein, our carbs, and our fat. So quick recap there on macros. And I want to get into this episode with our number one starting reason here for tracking these bad boys, tracking these macros. Macros are quite truly the most effective way to see results, the most effective way to see results. And trust me, I have tried anything and everything you can think of. I have tried it. I shouldn't say that I've never actually tried any kind of weight loss, medical, pills or anything like that. I have worked with countless clients who have done plenty of different medical weight loss. And one of my big things here is I had somebody reach out to me and they said, I'm so embarrassed. I've had so many coaches judge me for, whatever, medical weight loss they have done, the shots they have done, the pills. And I said, no, I am not here to judge. I see you. I hear you. You just want to see those results. All of these people have come to me having bad reactions or having the weight regain after doing them. And I'm like, I'm so glad you're here. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to support you. I'm here to, get you right on get you back on the right path. And I'm just excited that you're here. So 1, macros are the most effective way to see results because they allow us to be 1000% accurate with what we are eating. We need a certain amount of protein, carbs, and fat to keep our body fueled at the best. And also, we need a proper amount of protein, carbs, and fat for any goal that we want to achieve, whether that is fat loss long-term, whether that is healing your metabolism, whether that is prepping your body to have a baby, whether that's getting your body, back to where it was before you had a baby. So shape post-baby. If it's gaining muscle, truly any goal that you want to achieve, macros can help you get there, okay? And the reason for this is because our bodies need fuel to survive. And for all of our body's ecosystem, I like to call it an ecosystem because when our body is functioning, there are so many different systems going on in our body that work together, but they cannot work at their absolute best if we do not have the proper amount of protein, the proper amount of carbs, and the proper amount of fat, aka our macros. And this goes from our heart sitting, just beating, like me sitting here. I talk with my hands, so I'm moving a lot, but for me to actually function, my heart to keep beating, for my digestive system to keep going, my nail growth, my hair growth, like everything in your body, your skin feeling good, everything in your body comes from you and what you are actually fueling it. And so the thing about this fuel too is it's not just us sitting here and functioning, quite literally living, but it's us going out and about and taking our dog for a walk. It's taking our kids out and about. It's going out on a date with our significant other. It's sexy fun time with our significant other. It's feeling good in our body. It's those things that allow our body to continue to function. And on top of the physical, it's also our mental. What we are eating and eating adequate food will impact our mind, impact our energy, impact our ability to see clearly, to have a very, very clear mind. So it's not having all the brain fog. Food is so important for our body, and having the proper amount of protein, carbs, and fat can quite truly take your body, your mind to the next level in a way that you did not even expect. I've had clients who literally started doing better in their job, who went for the raise because they had better, mental clarity. They were feeling better overall, who got raises, who started going on dates, who have, healed their relationship with I've had clients tell me that their relationship with their significant other and their marriage was better after tracking their macros. So many good reasons here. But here's the thing, okay? How do we actually get that food? How do we get that fuel? And it is from the food that we are eating. And I think what's really important to note here, I'm talking so much, I just had to take the biggest deep breath there, but eating the nutrient-dense foods is incredibly important to fuel those systems. And also, eating those foods that are not so nutrient-dense is food for the soul. I am a firm believer of having your cake and eating it too. And if you struggle with moderation, honestly, the 80-20 rule is one of the most... I think it's one of the best ways to think about and learn moderation, because it's 80% of those nutrient dense foods and 20% of those foods that are foods for the soul, the chocolate, the chips and salsa, whatever it might be. And if you are tracking your macros, if you are tracking your protein, carbs, and fat, you can literally fit 80% of those macros into the nutrient dense foods and then 20% into those fun foods. Okay. And this will be absolutely perfect to keep you going in the right direction. And this also goes in with my second little note here. My second reason for tracking macros before going intuitive is the awareness of what you are eating. And this is such an important one that I think is so often overlooked, but the awareness of what we're eating. When I think back to before I was tracking my macros, I honestly probably couldn't even tell you the difference of what, different food items. And is it a protein? Is it a carb? Is it a fat? Like, what is in it? I would have had no idea. But when we are tracking our macros, we're being intentional about paying attention to what we're eating. And it helps us understand the nutritional content of different foods. And I think this is really important just because yes, it does take some work at the beginning. And I will say, I've had women who were tracking their calories before they came and started tracking their macros. And one also note here is tracking calories versus tracking macros. I think I actually have, I think I do actually. I think I have an episode all about tracking macros versus tracking calories, but essentially, macros make up calories. I'm going to try and not make this too complex. So basically your protein, your carbs, and your fat. So if you have, I don't want to get too complex in this. Basically, you can track your calories, but then you can go even more specific and track your macros. Tracking your macros 10 out of 10 times is going to be more effective than tracking calories. The in short little version there. And my thing here is, yes, it will. If you've never tracked your macros before, yes, it is going to be a learning curve. I think too many people are like, oh, it's going to be easy. It's going to be, whatever it may be. And I think nothing worth having comes easy. And sure, it doesn't have to be hard. Like, it doesn't have to be so incredibly complex when you actually have someone, helping you navigate those situations, someone teaching you how to do it. And it really doesn't have to be that complex, but it's just like anything in life. There will be a learning curve. So when you started your job, when you went to school, when you started raising your children, when you got married, like whatever it may be, when you're in a new relationship, there's always a learning curve, and it does take some work, but it's worth it. Just like anything in life that you want, put a little work into it and you'll be on, you're on your path to having the best life ever. And so I think for some people, and it's unfortunate because the diet industry really does push this, like Amazon Prime. Oh my gosh. Quick Amazon Prime story. Prime Day was yesterday. As I'm recording this is going to be coming out, I think, in like a month. Prime Day was yesterday. And my husband was like sending me all these things, and I got sucked in. I bought a new pair of Beats. I was going to go for the Apple or the AirPod Max. AirPod Max, is that right? For some reason that just throws me off, because when I think AirPod, I think of like the little, like the AirPods. But then it's like Max, so it's like a big one. Anyway, I didn't. I got Beats. I was like looking through the reviews, and for some reason, Beats potentially seem like they have longer lifespan, all that stuff. We've got some big, 3 big trips out of the country in the next like 8 months. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy now that I think about that. But I want my Beats because I have a plane anxiety. I get panic attacks on planes. The real world thing, yes, I do also. I am human. I have things that I struggle with. And so having Beats that I can block out all the noise, and it just like really, really helps me calm down. And so I got some noise canceling earphones. It's going to be great. I am learning to navigate plane rides with more ease. Having my husband with me. He's my emotional support husband is what we call him. Anyway, total sidetrack there because Amazon Prime Day got me good. And my point here is our bodies, our life, seeing progress is not like Amazon Prime. It is not going to happen overnight. You do have to put in the work. You can't just click a button and have it be sent to you. And I think what's important is really reminding yourself, one of my favorite quotes, and I've said this, I think, a couple times now, but nothing worth having comes easy. And back when I started tracking my macros and starting in on my reverse diet and starting in on healing my relationship with food and this journey myself, I actually had that quote up on, I think you like put it on, I like made a canvas. I like painted a little canvas and like nothing worth having comes easy, and I put it up in my bedroom. This was 10 years ago. I think I had it at college or something, but, well, I guess over 10 years. But my point here is if you don't put in the work, we're not going to be able to move forward. Okay. If you learn to navigate these situations and learning to have the awareness now, starting now, it will lead to a greater quality of life for the rest of your life. I want to interrupt this oh so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know about a new program coming very soon. Doors are not open quite yet. However, I want to give you just a hint of the details so you can get your name on the waitlist if it does sound like it's something that is up your alley. This program is going to be for beginner macro trackers as well as beautiful peaches who want to support learning to confidently track their macros while navigating life events stress so they can stop the exhausting weekend start over cycle that is holding them back from losing weight long term and healing their metabolism. You'll be learning how to track food with no nutrition label so you no longer have to be that friend who only orders a side salad with no dressing because she is so scared of getting off track. You'll be learning to navigate potlucks such as family cookouts and holidays so your biggest concern is great Aunt Karen's unsolicited advice on your love life or how to raise your kids, rather than the stress of trying to stay away from the food table all night in fear of getting off track. I'm not going to fully spill all of the beans, but if you want support learning how to master your macros in social settings, get on the waitlist to be the first to know when I release the full details for the program. That way, when doors are officially open, you are ready to rock and roll. I will drop the waitlist down below in the show notes for you, so go hop in, and if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram, and I am happy to answer those for you. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Something really important here too that I have actually in my notes is when we're learning the overall awareness of what we are eating, that's going to lead into the rest of our life, putting in the work now so we have a better quality of life for the rest of our life, it is going to rub off on those around us. And one of my really big goals for learning to master my macros, I was like, that's not right. To master my macros initially was I really want to be an incredible role model for my future kids. I want to be a role model for my friends and family who are struggling. I want to be a role model for you incredible women who are, coming. And I think I never want my kids to see me restricting in the future. I never want them to see me talking bad about food. I never want them to, hear me say I can't have this because I will get off track. I don't want them to hear me talk poorly about my body. And that's one of the really cool things about my mom is she just has this, more so lately, I think she's been learning from me, but just this like beauty in her body. And she's like, this is me. I love me. And I see that in her. And as an adult, right? Like as an adult, I am in this place where I'm obviously in a really good place in my life around food with my body, but to see her doing that, I'm like, even my grandchildren are going to have her having positive body talk. And it's not coming from just me, but it's also now coming from my mom, who will be their grandmother. And I think it's really cool because it's the saying that our ceiling is our children's floor. So what they learn from us, our ceiling, we cap out. We can only go so far. We can go really far. It's a matter of how much work we put into it. However, what our children are going to learn and grow from, it's going to be from our ceiling, but that's going to be their floor. So if we create a really incredible ceiling, right? An incredible place for them to start their growth, what a freaking incredible life they're going to have. And so I think it's just one of those things where it's important to put the work in now, And on top of that, I actually have this in my notes too. I really wanted to, when I started tracking macros, I was very insecure in my body. I did not want to go on dates. I did not want to go to social events. I became a little bit antisocial. I actually lost some friends, which is number one, really sad. But number two, also kind of showed me this friends who did stick around saw concern for me and the way that I was struggling. And it kind of did I was like, okay, well, obviously you're not a clear good friend. Like looking back, I'm like, well, that checks out. And now looking here, I'm like, I still have those core people in my life. So main point here though, is in that process of healing my relationship with food and tracking macros, I really wanted to make sure that when I got married in the future, which I am now happily married, going on to a year and a half, which is kind of fun. And I wanted to be in a place where my relationship with food and my relationship with my body did not impact my marriage. And I think something that's really beautiful is my husband and I feel great in my body. And let me also clarify, I feel great in my body. And also I do have good and bad body image days. I think there's something important to note is some people, sure, you might be able to completely never, ever have any bad body images again, but that's not fully realistic. It tends for me to happen more around, when I'm about to start my period, certain areas in my cycle, but it's learning how to navigate those situations and to learn how to navigate that positive body talk. And reminding yourself that you are beautiful, reminding yourself that you are okay and where you are, you're Your body does not define how people love you or your worth. And I'm going on a total tangent here. I haven't even gotten to my third piece here, but my point here is nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want to see those changes, if you want it to become second nature, you have to put in the work now. It doesn't have to be incredibly complex, right? Just like learning a new job, just like learning to navigate new situations, you can learn how to navigate to get there, but you want to start now because it will impact your overall quality of life tomorrow, the next day, the next month, the next 2 months, the next rest of your life. Okay. Now, number 3 here, I'm going to try and, I'm not going to like rapid fire through these, but I want to make sure that I'm not keeping this or making this episode too long for you. But number 3, I am obsessed with tracking macros because of how absolutely customized they are. No 2 clients of mine, no 2 women in the entire world are going to have the same macros because your metabolism, your body, your lifestyle, your goals, what you have and have not done, those are all going to be so incredibly different. And I literally have in my notes, I love cookies, but I hate cookie cutter. And my I'm so silly. Like sometimes I write these things and like in the moment, I'm like, tee hee hee hee. I'm like giggling. You can like picture me like typing and giggling to myself in a coffee shop. And as I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, it just feels too cheesy to say it, but I'm like, I'm going to say it anyway. So I love cookies, but I hate cookie cutter. And anyway, but before I did start tracking my macros, I did way too many cookie cutter programs that were a simple waste of my time. They were a waste of my money. I even tried the basic MyFitnessPal macros, which those are the absolute freaking worst. I have an episode all about why not to do MyFitnessPal for like calculating your macros. Go check that out because it is the absolute freaking worst. You do not want to do that. So when I learned how to actually calculate my macros and then go on to learn to adjust my macros in a way that was catered to my specific goals, it was so cool. I wrote, wowza, that was cool. I'm feeling very goofy. I was like caffeine induced feeling goofy when writing these. But wowza, that was cool. So tracking macros really allows you to customize your food, what you are eating based on your individual goals, whether that's weight loss, muscle gain, muscle or maintenance, like quite literally any goal that you have. Your macros, you can customize to that goal, to your body, to your metabolism. And it is so freaking cool. And on top of this, it really helps you identify patterns in your eating habits that might actually be contributing to your weight loss or weight gain, allowing you to make really informed decisions and adjustments as needed to allow you to continue that progress and to get out of your plateau. So having that proper balance of your macros can quite truly change your physical performance. So how you are working out at the gym, it can change your overall physical appearance. So how you are seeing that progress, it can actually impact your recovery. So muscle growth and recovery, which also helps with our metabolism health, helps with our fat loss, helps with our overall body feeling at its absolute best. It's going to support with, I mean, so many things. I could go on and on and on here, but having the proper macros and actually being able to hit those macro goals, absolute game changer. Okay. Number 4, this one is so simple, and it's so simple, but it's so incredibly overlooked. I think people don't understand. You've got to hit your macros. And I get it. I get it. It is a learning curve, but once you know how to do it, like you are golden and you don't have to do it forever. I like to think about it when one of my clients, actually 2 thoughts just came into my head at once. One of my clients once said, and I wish I could remember like her exact phrasing, but she basically, I asked her, I was like, why do you want to work with you? Why did you choose now out of the past 2 years that she had actually been reaching out? And she basically phrased it like nothing changes if nothing changes. And she said, she had spent the last 2 years creeping on my stuff. She literally said, I've been watching you for 2 years now. I've been doing all the quick fixes. I've been wanting to start tracking macros, but I keep pushing it off. I keep making excuses. And she said, because I want to start now because in 2 years from now, I want to be in a different place. I don't want to be sitting here looking back thinking, wow, I just wasted the last 4 years. And within, I think 6 weeks, 4 weeks, she was in such a good place with her macros, living so freely. She was like, Caitlen, why didn't I start this sooner? And my answer to you is you can kick yourself all day long for not starting, but you have your own journey and your journey is going to lead you to where you need to go. If you have not started yet, that's okay. Maybe this is your sign to start now, but don't kick yourself for not doing it in the past. Just start. Okay. And I think what's important about this too is you are more likely to achieve your fitness and health goals so much more efficiently. And you do need to learn how to actually hit those numbers, learn to eat. My thing is giving me a thumbs up. It's so funny. I've never learned why it gives me like a thumbs up. If I put my thumb up, will it do it? Thumbs up. No, it doesn't. I don't know why it's doing that. So you need to learn how to actually hit your macro goals when eating out, okay? When navigating the real world scenarios, when navigating life events, because so many diets make us think that we can and cannot do certain things, which is not sustainable. It is not going to lead to long-term progress and is not going to lead to a better quality of life. So you need to learn how to track when eating out, how to go on an impromptu dinner date out that might not have been planned in your macros, how to navigate that swap. We are approaching holiday season, and I have had women who are already reaching out to me saying, I am about to start preparing the restriction going into holiday season. I'm like, whoa, hold the phone here. We do not need to restrict going into holiday season. I actually recommend starting to track your macros now and learning how to navigate these life events. So when the holidays come around, you do not feel like you have to restrict. You do not feel like you have to say no to certain holiday functions. You do not feel like you have to say no to the holiday cookies. You know how to eat the foods that you love while still staying quite literally on track. So when it comes to the new year, you are actually already hitting your New Year's resolutions from this year. And you don't have to rewrite the same dang resolutions every single freaking year. Okay. Now, my biggest thing here, just start. Okay. And this leads into my number five reason to track your macros before you do go intuitive. And this one's so incredibly huge because I am such a I'm like a huge perfectionist with macros. You need to, number one, give yourself grace. And number two, be flexible. Okay. Unlike restrictive diets, macros actually allow you to eat a variety of foods as long as they fit in your macros, making it more sustainable. If you want to go out and get donuts, go get those donuts. If you want to go out and get margaritas, go get margaritas. If you want to go do whatever it may be, you can do that. And this, while yes, still hitting your macros because that's how we're going to see changes, do it now so you see your results faster so you can go intuitive down the road. Okay. And I think my other piece here, so this is kind of like two tips in one. Now there's balloons on my screen. It's so funny to me. I don't get it. That's okay. As a perfectionist, when I first started tracking macros, I was like, I'm going to hit these bad boys every single day without fail. It's going to be great. And what happened was I was learning. It was a learning curve for me. I had never tracked macros before. It's a new scenario for me. So it was tough. And when I found myself not being able to hit those macro goals for 5 days in a row, I felt like a failure. It made me feel like I was off track. It made me go into the all or nothing mentality. And I just started into a binge and I gave up. Instead, give yourself some attainable goals. So start with hitting your macros 3 days a week, but hit them to the T on those 3 days. Once you've mastered that, go to 4 days a week and so on and so forth. Be flexible. Don't beat yourself up and allow yourself to be the person who is in that learning place. Okay. Now, my last note for you is going intuitive. If you have given macros the lifespan that they need to get you to reach your goal, you've learned how to hit them. You've learned to navigate the life events. You've adjusted them as needed. You've hit your goal. You have a kick-ass metabolism. I have that written in here. You have a really great awareness of what you are eating. Once you understand those macro needs, once you get to where you want to go, you can go intuitive. I have some clients who love macros so much that they don't go intuitive, and that's fine too. It's totally up to your personal preference. Okay. I feel like I was just like rapid fire talking through that one. I'm like hot now. I'm like, it's summer, but I keep my air conditioning down a little bit lower just because the heat has been like unbearable. So I got a little bit chilly this morning and now I'm like, whoa, buddy, it's hot. It's toasty. So my last thing here for you is I do have a new program coming soon. Go ahead down below. It's all about navigating macros in life events. So down below is going to be the wait list. If that program is currently open and you click the waitlist page, it will actually bring you to the actual program page so you can learn more details. You can enroll if you would like to, all those good pieces there. You're also more than welcome to DM me on Instagram any questions you might have. And also, I actually have a new quiz, which I am really, really, really excited about. If you DM me the word QUIZ, so quiz on Instagram, it is an automated quiz. So I have it set up to take you through the entire quiz. I'm always personally it's actually really funny. I'm always in my DM, like having conversation. So if I see somebody DM me quiz, I will like take a step back and like not message anything because I want you to go through the whole entire quiz without like me like jumping in and messing with it. So just DM me the word quiz and it will take you to the quiz and actually it doesn't speak, but it will actually help you figure out where you need to start in your own personal journey based on your metabolism, based on your goals, based on all the pieces there. It will give you exactly where you need to start and a resource to help you along your way. So with all this, I appreciate you for being here. I have a little reminder here. I have reminders in my notes, or I have reminders, not in my notes. It's the reminder app. And one of mine is to push your boundaries. So this is perfect timing. Push those boundaries that you've got. Pushing your boundaries helps us get out of our comfort zone, which is how we grow. I believe in you. If I can do it, you can do it. I am always, always, always here to help. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye, my beautiful peach.